Hey guys, so today we're going to have a look at the types of things I wish I knew before I became a teacher. Now, there's a bunch of things we're going to talk about today, but just before I get into them, it's a really big help for the channel and a big help for me if you could like the video, or if you've got any questions, put a comment down below and let me know what types of things you're thinking, because it helps me produce videos that you guys want to see. It helps me know where the channel's going. So if you could do that, that'd be a massive help. Thank you very much if you do. And anyway, let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about that I wish I knew before I became a teacher is the amount of work that goes in that isn't teaching. And what I mean by isn't teaching is obviously every single day I spend 6 hours from 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock in front of my class teaching them a lesson. And that happens every day, Monday to Friday is what we do. But the amount of work that goes into a day that isn't teaching, that is probably just under 50% of my day. So every day I'll be at school for between 10 and 11 hours. I might do an extra half hour of work at home or an hour of work at home every day too. So those 6 hours of teaching is only maybe 60% of my day, maybe 50% of my day. And really, when you are a teacher, if teaching is only half of your day, that is a tiny proportion of what you're going to be doing. So I wished I knew that before, because of course teachers always say that, and teachers say there's lots of other things included, but they don't really go into kind of much detail about things. So they don't go into detail about the planning you're going to have to do, because every school plans differently, I understand that, but there's a lot of planning. They don't really go into the marking and what they mean by marking and how your school marks it. Again, all schools mark differently, but there's a lot of marking involved. They don't really go into what types of things you have to do for assessment and when you're assessing your kids. Things like reading, things like benchmarking. They don't really talk about how important it is to be in touch with parents, and all that stuff adds up so much. Filling in forms for children that are working with other authorities, that people are coming in to talk to the children. There's so much other stuff that's involved as part of being a teacher that the only way to really learn is to be on the job. If you do have any questions about them, then as I said, comment down below what your question is and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But there's a load of stuff that's involved in being a teacher that is not stood in front of class teaching. And I kind of wish I knew that before I started. It wouldn't have changed my mind, and don't get me wrong, I love teaching. And those things sometimes are the most rewarding bits of being a teacher. But there is a lot of them, and it's a steep learning curve when you first get into the classroom of all the things you need to do and trying to keep up with them all. The next thing that I want to talk about is about working late. So I wish before I became a teacher that I knew you didn't have to work late into the night, okay? I get to school now probably about an hour before I used to. So I get to school at about 7 o'clock in the morning. I used to turn up to school just before 8 o'clock, and then I'd work a lot later, so I'd be at school till 6 p.m. at least every night. Whereas nowadays, I get to school for about 7 and I leave work by about 5 o'clock. There's still bits of work that I have to take home with me on my computer that I'll do, and I'll type up bits and that sort of thing. But you don't have to stay at work till all hours of the night. You don't have to go home and work till all hours of the night to get everything done. There are ways of doing it to work things out. The video I released a few days ago is all about work-life balance of a teacher. So if you want to go watch that, I'll try and remember to link it up there somewhere. But go have a look at that and see how I work with managing my work-life balance. But I want to know it is possible. And before I became a teacher, I didn't think it was. I thought part of being a teacher was just that you were going to go and you had to work. But there is a lot of fun stuff that comes with being a teacher, and you do get a lot of benefits too. So I definitely think if I'd have known what my life was like now when I became a teacher, I wouldn't have worried about it so much. Part of becoming a teacher in my training, I was so worried about not having my own social life and not having my own kind of work-life balance. But I know now, 3 years in, it is possible. And there will be times when I struggle with it. There'll be times in the future when I take on more responsibilities, when I struggle with it and I have to rebalance my life and readjust things to make sure it all works. But I know now I'm very happy with the way my life is going. I think it's going really well, and I hope you are too. But yeah, I wished I knew that actually that is quite possible, and it is something to do if you put your mind to it. The next thing that I wished I knew before I became a teacher is about how much your development is increased by visiting people, by talking to people, by going on training, by listening to other teachers, just to take advantage of that, because in your NQT year, you are going at 100 miles an hour, and there are times when you are sat and you are listening to a teacher teach, or you are going on a course and your mind's not 100% in it because you've got a million and one things you need to do, and you're sat there thinking, right, well, I'm sat here, I'm listening to him, but I'm also going to have a go at doing this at the same time. And, I'm listening to her, I'm watching her teach, but I'm also going to finish that job that I've got to do. And nowadays, I've got the time to really value those training courses and really value experiencing other people teach. And it is such a game changer I've sat this week on some geography training, and I went into it. It was about the Sustainable Development Goals and how you can import them into your learning and into your classroom. And I went into it thinking, you know what, I'm not really sure about what these are. I need to kind of get a grip on them, but I don't really know. And I've come out because I've had the time to sit and actually listen and pay attention and engage with it. I've got so many ideas now about what I want to do with my class, what I want to do with the school, where I want to go in terms of geography as a school, where I want to take that. And just that training, just by having that time to sit and listen and take it all in, has helped me so much, and hopefully will help the children and help the school as well. When you're in NQT, as you become a teacher, I just take your time to engage with that learning, engage with that development, engage with that training. Because if you don't, it's a really massively missed opportunity, and it will help you develop quicker. It took me a little while to get on top of everything, and that's because I think I didn't engage with the training as well as I could have in my first year. So yeah, really, really important one. Engage with the training and really take as much of it as you can on board. So we've got two more things that I'm going to mention to you guys today, and this one is all about your confidence. So your confidence as a teacher. Now, it's 100% natural to go in on your NQT year, in your first year of teaching, and be absolutely terrified of what you're about to do, what you're trying to do. It's something you've never done before, especially you've never done it on your own, and you are right to be worried. You're right to be a bit nervous because it's only natural. It's definitely, I understand the mindset, and I was, when I started, I was so nervous. I was really worried about how I was doing. I wasn't sure if I was doing everything right. So I'm not saying here, just saying, oh, just be confident. Just don't worry about things, because it's not useful advice to anyone. What I'm saying is when you're in the classroom, even if you are so worried you don't know what you're doing, act like you do. It's all an act in terms of confidence. It's all an act. So what I mean is when you're in there and you know what, a kid might have said something and you're not really sure the answer, someone might come in and ask you something, you don't know the answer to that, portray confidence as if you do. Even if you're saying, look, sorry, I don't know the answer to that, but you know what, I'm going to write it down, I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you the answer tomorrow. Okay? There's no shame in that. The children shouldn't think you are this fountain of knowledge that knows everything. You should be displaying those good learning behaviours that you are trying to instill in them. So if you don't know something, then you're going to go away and try and find out what the answer is and tell them the same way you'd expect them to go away and try and find out the answer when you give them a bit of work that they don't know. I'm not saying you should be this person that knows everything and have the confidence in that way, but have confidence in your own ability to find the answer out. If someone challenges you, have confidence that you are right. Have confidence that you're going to back yourself up. So it's all about having that confidence in everything that you do. And just by standing at the front of the classroom and acting like you're confident, the children will automatically take a bit more notice of you. They will automatically think, oh, this person knows what they're doing, we should probably listen to them. So I wish I knew that about the confidence thing at the start, because I didn't. And I didn't portray myself as a confident person at the start. I was very much open about the fact I wasn't really sure what I was doing. And sometimes that's a good thing to say, but often the best way to do it is actually say, no, look, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm going to do my best. And if something goes wrong, we'll just fix it, and that's okay. So definitely one of the things I wish I knew before I became a teacher was being confident is pretty much the saviour of all situations. If you're confident in yourself and what you're doing, then the children will automatically kind of work around you and work with you, and it will all end up in a much happier place. The final thing that I wished I knew before I became a teacher was about having really, really good relationships with the parents and how key that is to the children's learning. So I came into being a teacher, and obviously I knew I was going to be teaching the children, and I didn't really think too much about the parents, as horrible as it is to say. I didn't really think about, what they were thinking or how they felt about school or how they felt about me as a teacher. And I just wasn't really too concerned with that, and I didn't think about it. But the last 2 years of obviously going through lockdown and going through online learning, and it's really shown me the massive importance of having the parents of your class on your side and working with you, rather than not working against you, but just not really knowing what you're doing. Keeping your parents informed of what you're teaching them is really important, because then at home they can kind of continue with that and ask about their day, ask about what they were learning. Keeping your parents informed about the direction you're taking the class and the types of things you're doing is massively important, because if they have confidence in you and what you're doing, then they will be much more engaged with the children about what they're learning in school, much more open to kind of discussions, and keeping that regular bits of advice to the children and keeping that regular kind of knowledge and talking about the work. It's just another way the children are going to remember what they were doing. I know this is the importance of being able to ring parents up and just talk to them about how their child's getting on, because again, we haven't been able to see the children as much as we wanted. We've had to kind of take a step back as it's online learning and rely on the parents a massive amount on making sure the children are engaged with the work, making sure they're doing the work every day, making sure they're doing the best learning they can while they're at home. And without good relationships with the parents and without being able to, pick up the phone and ring them and ask how things are getting on, then that wouldn't be possible, and the children will be making far less progress than they currently are. So definitely the relationship with the parents and having that kind of bond with them, and knowing that I know they're doing the best for their child, they know I'm doing the best for their child, and that kind of mutual trust in that sense, hugely important, and in today's environment, even more so. So definitely, I wish I'd have known that actually build that relationship with the parents and with the children, then that is massively important. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, there's a new one coming out every Tuesday and every Friday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It does help the channel massively if you could give it a like, if you could comment down below on anything you've enjoyed, or something that you think, actually, I'm really not sure about this in terms of teaching, could you make a video on this? Then I will definitely have a think about it and see if I can. Thanks a lot if you are one of the ones that has done that, and I will hopefully see you soon on a Tuesday and a Friday.